Hello， 大家好，我是 Nancy， 欢迎收听慈济国际论坛的特别企划。第28届联合国气候变迁会议 COP28 将在这个月30号在杜拜要登场，而特别企划呢要专访即将前往与会的 Professor Solomon Darwin。Professor Darwin 被誉为是智慧乡村运动之父，任教于柏克莱大学企业创新中心执行主任。那么他是开放式创新与商业模式的专家，是跨国公司的顾问，包括了 Google、惠普、Johnson 等等哦。这次来到台湾出席慈济基金会所主办的国际论坛，可以说别具意义。那么这次呢，他在论坛上提到的是 innovation 创新的理念。那么要迈向平等的这个新世代呢，那么大家的创新思维 idea 还有 concept 呢，是要像大海一样相互交流的，而不是像湖水一样呢平静不动哦。那么越交流呢，也有助于社会，有助于世界的发展。而我们的特别企划呢，要针对他即将在 COP28 要发表的印度智慧农村的范例，也就是呢他在书中 Let's Create Smart Villages 创建智慧农村的部分呢来做专访。
Hello, Darwin.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Fine.
Yes,
so appreciate have this close-up interview.
好，首先呢，我请教 Darwin 的这个问题是他近年来受到了印度政府的委托，执行建设可以扩展的智慧农村的计划。他提到了 COVID-19 的危机改变了人类生存的游戏规则，像是印度有数百万的农民选择离开城市返回村庄，所以将农村的人口还有世界其他地区连接起来的数位发展基础设施就至关重要了。像是 Google、Intel、IBM 等等的大型企业还有新创公司，怎么样来承担起解决村民需求的责任
I started working with the government of India. I never anticipated one day. I went to the United States when I was 16 years of age, and I never thought I'd come back and work with the Indian government. But destiny had it that one day I would run into the chief minister of my state, who came and invited me to make my village that I grew up in, which is a very smart, not very smart, to make it smart. So that was the beginning of the journey of working with the Indian government. Later,
好， Darwin 的回应是呢，他再次拜访印度总理的时候，总理希望他协助发展智慧城市，但是他发现到了印度的环境并不适合，城市少而乡村多，所以应该要从乡村来着手，才能够解决印度贫富不均的问题。
The idea of smart villages was birthed because of my ancestry, where I come from and who I am. I was born an untouchable in a very, the lowest strata of the Indian society. Our people, my people, were isolated into different isolated camps, like we call them reservations, like in America, where the only job they did was clean the public toilets or clean dead bodies. And that's the caste I come from. We lived under very terrible conditions.
那他说呢，他问自己我是谁？我出生哪里？他思考到这个部分，思考到他出身底层家庭，那么家人呢做最底层的工作，像是清垃圾，还有清排泄物而像是呢，他们这样的家庭占印度是最大部分的。所以要解决印度的贫富差距呢，其实呢，智慧发展数位发展，应该先从农村来着手。
So the idea of the smart village came when my grandmother, who was a child bride, she was married off as a child at the age of 6. In India, we didn't like girls. Either we gave the girls over to the temples for the priests as offerings, so they were abused in the temples, or they were given away in marriage as a child bride. So my grandmother was married at the age of 6 to a man who was 20 years older than her. And she doesn't even remember what the age was. But she went through a lot of persecution within this family. And as she was not bearing children, they one day beat her up and threw her out. And her father did not accept her back because she was barren and was a curse to the family. So she went to the river and jumped into the river to commit suicide.
好，另外他也提到呢，祖母的关系呢也给了他很多的启发，像是印度本身呢是一个种姓制度之外哦，性别也是不平等的，尤其是女孩子哦。幼小的这个女孩子就结婚了，像是她的祖母是在6岁的时候就被迫嫁给大她20几岁的男生哦，在这过程当中呢，受尽了折磨，还有苦难。后来因为祖母不能生育，就被家族唾弃哦，生活可以说很痛苦，快活不下去了，决定要自杀。
When she was drowning, a young Englishman was passing by and he rescued her protected from drowning and said, why are you're a beautiful woman, very attractive, why are you dying? She said, well, I have no hope. Nobody wants me. I'm an untouchable. My in-laws do not want me. My father doesn't want me. I have no hope. So his name is Charles Percy Whitehouse, this young missionary who came to India as a young man, died in the village at the age of 76 or so. But when he picked her up, he said, I want to pray for you and I give you hope. And so my grandmother at that time, she was believing in so many. In India, we have 330 million deities. Every day she would worship a different god, and none of those gods helped. But this young missionary said, I'm going to tell you about a God who can touch the untouchable, make your curse into a blessing, so it can be a blessing to the nations. And that gave her hope, and she went home with him and he protected her.
后来呢，祖母在河边要自杀的时候，遇到了一个英国的年轻传教士，问他为什么要自杀。他说，夫家不要他，因为他没有办法生育，他觉得人生没有希望。这个英国的传教士呢，就跟他说，你们在印度崇拜这么多神，我能介绍你认识一位神是能够给你盼望的话，你是不是愿意再做一些新的尝试呢？后来啊，他的祖母听进去了，重新开始生活。
So he took her home and he taught her how to read and write because the untouchables were denied educational benefits. So how to add and subtract, how to speak. And he discovered that this woman is very talented. And he introduced her to all his friends in England. And she began to do beautiful lace work and textiles, very creative. She exported a few samples to England. And those people, English people, loved her work and sent orders in thousands. So she became the largest employer of women, and they all got paid in pounds, made money. And then later he introduced her to Burma, where she exported pickle. All the people in the women wanted to keep the money with her, so she started a bank, was able to loan out people. So she had 7 or 8 businesses going for her.
而传教士啊，也发现到哦，祖母家其实并不是非常贫穷，只是没有教育。后来呢，就带领他的祖母吸收很多的知识，接受教育，发挥手艺还有才能，在当地的村庄创业。后来祖母也真的 赚了很多的钱哦。那么在当地呢，让更多人有就业的机会，而他也并不是说这些钱呢赚了他自己就拥有哦，他贡献社会，创了一个小型的银行，可以帮助没有资本的有钱人，像是尤努斯这样的一个做法。好，那我在这边呢稍微简介一下，获得了诺贝尔奖的这个尤努斯哦，他在孟加拉推动微型贷款以来呢，包括了像是印度、南美、非洲、东欧等地，已经有成千上万的家庭脱离贫穷了，开始呢经济自主的生活。当地人贫穷的主因其实是财务的束缚。所以有一次呢，他拜访了一个以编制竹椅贴补家用的妇人，发现他编制一个竹椅所得的报酬居然只有2分美元哎，他就问说，有没有试过要借钱来做生意呢？好，这个妇人说有，可是债主会要求很多的回报，跟他们借钱最后只会变得更穷。好，所以他创了所谓的微型贷款，让这个微型贷款的这个还款压力不大。那么常见的这个还款方式往往是每个星期你可以偿还一小笔的金额，那还款期限呢也是可以长达1年以上，只要借款人的事业进行得很顺利，很少遇到还不出钱的窘境。好，这就是尤努斯呢，他在孟加拉创办的农村乡村银行，已经借出了超过30亿美元，帮助了超过2000个家庭。
So the idea of a smart village is when people, no matter whether they have education or no education, because people do not need really education. God gave us a DNA inside our bodies that is smarter than any PhD. All people want is access to information, resources, freedom, tools, market linkages. If you give those to them, the DNA inside a human body will manifest itself and create value for others and for themselves and to the community. That idea of a smart village came from my grandmother, uneducated, never went to school, but did a global business when there was no cell phones, no FedEx, no DHL, right? No laptops, and she did it. And I said, we can do it now much better than before with smart villages.
好，祖母的个案呢，就启发了这个Darwin 思考哦。其实每个人都有很多的才能啊，那么这个是上帝给的 gift， 上帝给的礼物哦，就是要看我们怎么样去发掘。所以教育很重要，需要有机会来发挥这些呢原本就有的天分，在社会上发挥价值，所以决定要做智慧村庄。
So Dr. Herr talks about the economy of goodness. We need to turn greed, which drives our businesses, into good that needs to drive our businesses. I also learned that from my grandmother. The first thing she did with her money is to educate her children. And after this whole thing is over, she was able to bear children. And my father happens to be the first man to get a PhD from his caste from South India. And so it's a remarkable thing. He's the one who came to America, and he was able to bring people like me from that tiny, untouchable village to beautiful California, because that education, because my grandmother realized if you get educated, you can bless more people. And that's what she did, the economy of goodness. And she also established a children's home for people like her, where children who are thrown out, ostracized, house of refuge. It's a big place where she rescued a lot of women. That's economy of goodness.
那达文也特别提到呢，这次很荣幸有机会跟慈济基金会来合作，发现呢副执行长何日生师兄的理念他们两个理念呢是完全一致。像是呢，达文说他的祖母赚到的钱也是灌注在行善，特别是教育方面，帮助村庄的孩子有机会受教，才能够得以发挥。所以他觉得他们的起心动念是一样的。
The economy of goodness, which is the foundation of this whole conference. My grandmother not only started a small school that I went to, it's a little hut, where she taught other people what she knew. But so that school is still there, it's a little small hut. But she also realized that many mothers, untouchable women, there was no doctor in the village because of the caste. So she became the first missionary midwife, learning from the English missionary how to boil the knife and so on, and she cut the umbilical cord. So at one time, she named every baby in the village, prayed for them, and many of them who didn't have any home to go to because they were raped by the landlords, she kept them. And so the first birthing center was established in Mori, and now it is a very big hospital there now. But that's the economy of goodness. So when we earn money from business, let us put it into good to serve people. And that is another example that I learned with my grandmother.
好，延伸善经济的观念那祖母把赚的钱呢，去帮助村民在地弱势来创业，尤其是女性是比较弱势也辛苦的。那么当时创的学校现在都还在。而大卫呢，他的爸爸是村庄第一个博士，也培养他读书，在美国拿到博士，最后呢，在美国的大学成为教授。
Now we have 800 children in our school, untouchables, going to school every day. When I came to America, when I went back and saw my grandmother's school, that little hut is still there, I said, God blessed me in America. I was the executive vice president and corporate controller of a large bank, and I came back and built a school there. We are blessing 800 kids and their families. And later, we have a big hospital. We have 200 plus babies born this year alone in our hospital. So we named the hospital after my grandmother, Subama Mission Hospital. So the economy of goodness, when you take a woman who's dying and had no hope and didn't have an education, if you give people not money but resources and access, they will develop and bless other people. And I think that is the Smart Village movement that came to me, and I was born at the right place at the right time for the right people to help with this.
他说呢，他们在农村创的小学校，每天还有800多个学生在上课。那除了教育，也创医院，把医院环境弄好，照顾到大家的健康那他更深的体会是呢，帮助弱势朋友有受教育的机会，其实他们可以发挥很大的价值，再去帮助别人，这是一种善的循环。所以呢，他也认为说这个何日生何父提到的善经济、善的循环手心向上，转而手心向下，这样的理念是一样的。
And when you're doing good in the economy of goodness, you'll have many, many problems. People won't like it, but you should not give up, and you need to persevere. When my father got his PhD, when I was a little boy, went to the commencement, and they said, "You are not allowed. You're an untouchable. You can't sit here." I said, "I came to watch my father get his PhD." They said, "No. You go across the street, And my aunt, myself, my brother, my mom, we went across the street, stood there as my father walked up and got his PhD. And when my father walked up, no one clapped for him because he's an untouchable. People were not very happy that this untouchable man got a PhD. So he never got a job. So one day he came home to our little hut with a book from the library that had all the U.S. university addresses. So my dad wrote letters to the United States, and I licked the stamps. We had a kerosene lamp in this little dirt floor hut late into the night. So we mailed hundreds of letters to America, hoping my dad will get a job. And many hundreds came back saying, I'm sorry, we don't have a job for you. So he was very, very depressed and discouraged. And after 6 months, one envelope came. And this happens to be from he's a his PhD is in marine biology. The topmost marine biology institute in the world, University of California, San Diego, Scripps Institute of Oceanography. And when he got that envelope, he was throwing it away because he said, if small schools, city schools, colleges rejected me, why would the most top one would accept me? But my grandmother was there. She said, God will always give you the best. To open it. So my father opened the envelope, and I saw tears coming out of his eyes. John D. Isaacs, the head of the department at Scripps, said, Solomon, my father's name is also Solomon, we are so honored to give you a position at the Scripps Institute.
好，还有一个小插曲是呢，他的父亲当时在印度拿到博士学位，因为他的家族是种姓制度最低的，所以当时并不被校长并不被这个学校的老师们祝福。那而且呢，也不允许 Darwin 去参加父亲的毕业典礼哦。那虽然父亲呢念书念得很好，但是在印度也找不到工作，父亲当时就很失望。后来他把他的求职计划往外送，包括了美国。半年之后收到了一封信，那是加州大学的聘书哦。我想他父亲呢，这个泪流满面，应该是很感动哦。他感慨说，印度的一些学校呢，居然都不要他哦，但是美国有名的加州大学要聘他，所以一家三口呢，都抱着哭哦。那父亲呢，带着达尔文教授也来到美国，开创不一样的人生。接下来呢，我就进一步请教 Darwin 说，好，这个我们在印度的农村呢，创这个智慧农村嘛，然后呢，帮助他们开发这个数位的发展，帮助他们呢做这个农村的经济哦。但是农民最不擅长的，会不会就是数位的营销？而这个企业呢，或者新创公司要怎么样来帮助农民做数位行销，让他们可以自给自足呢？
Okay, that's a good question. What people need to be empowered is not just also information, but they need facilitation. There's a course I'm teaching at Berkeley online to Indian students in close to my village. This is an engineering college, and they get a nice diploma for on innovation for completing the course. And the course is a practicum What I tell them is you can learn so much today on YouTube. You don't need a professor teaching you. You can learn on your own. But I want to give you a project. I teach them a little bit about open innovation, how to think, and then take 5 or 6 young people to go and take a local entrepreneur and to expand their business. So these 5 engineers go to a local entrepreneur, whether the lady is selling saris or selling pickles, it doesn't matter. And they open a bank account for her, set up an internet platform so she can sell it online, then also set up a Facebook, and they facilitate and train her for a little bit, him or her, to expand their global business. Now they can sell globally, not just in India. When a lady sells a sari in India, when she makes it, she only gets $10. But now, if she puts it on the platform, she'll get $100 because someone from Australia or England or San Jose, California will buy it, pay more because they value it more. That is the enablement through digital technology and digital platforms you can provide because today we have the technology to do it.
好 ，Darwin 的回应是说呢，在智慧农村的平台当中哦，整个企划就非常的重要，所以他开了一些线上的课程，教育这些创业家一些方法哦，怎么样呢？把你的农作品、手作品也好，如何透过数位的工具来行销出去。他甚至呢还送了6位优秀的创业家到美国，更深入的来学习。那这样的成功故事一直在复制中。我进一步的请教他说呢，所以相信很多的村民他们的生活因此改善。那他们的改善还有他们的转变。
Well, I think there are many things can change, but one of the sad things about living in this world is politics. And when we showcase the Smart Village products, what we did was, Smart Village is about not building roads, infrastructure, buildings, schools, libraries. It's about building people. You take a person, you empower them with tools, resources, and information, which are mainly digital now, and they can do it themselves. They can build their own roads, their own buildings. So that's what we do. What we did with 26 Silicon Valley companies who came to this village is they built digital infrastructure. Like every home was connected with internet, right? That's one thing I asked. If you cannot connect to the world, you can't really sell anything and learn anything. So the chief minister gave me my request. The other thing is we created platforms where they can put their projects and sell globally. That's another thing. And then we also created what we call tools for farmers, fishermen, so they know the weather, they know sense in the soils, so they can empower themselves. That's what we showed. So the chief minister, said, "This is wonderful. This is great. Let me give you 450 villages where we can scale this." And we were very excited. But that chief minister lost the election. And the next chief minister said, "Whatever that man did, I don't want to do because he looks too good, I look bad." So he cut it off. So now we are working in 3 other states where I was invited, and there things are going very well. But so sometimes human greed, political ambitions, that evil in the world will come to destroy something that is good. But we cannot stop. We just have to keep going.
达文士回答说，他觉得最大的改变是人，因为你要改善一个地方，不只是硬体最重要人才是关键。 所以过程当中啊，不但要让村民创造自我价值，而且呢，可以让国外的企业，像是矽谷有26家的企业呢，因为这个项目也有合作，比如数位发展基础的建设、数位工具的建设，比如一个首饰，你在印度当地卖呢，可能是或是这个乡村卖可能是只有10卢比，但是你透过了数位的转型、数位行销，你可以卖到英国、卖到国际市场上，就能产生更大的价值。那后来呢，当地的部长也希望他把这样子一个模范的经验也能够沿用到其他的村庄。不过之后呢，因为政治还有这个不同的执政人这等等的因素呢，政绩上的竞争所以后来呢，这个计划呢就没有再进一步的执行了。
Yeah, the concept that at COP28 we are showcasing is a technology. It's artificial intelligence, generative AI, which becomes a tool for the good, technology for good, AI for good. And what we're doing is, because I'm only one person with this vision, and I can probably talk to a few other people, but I cannot multiply myself a million times. But this generative AI is able to talk to people like I'm talking to you and answer questions. They can answer questions, and also the AI will also ask you questions, and it becomes intelligent every time it engages with people on how to build a smart village, how to sustain, be environmentally friendly, green, so all of these questions and all the cases that I'd written are in this AI, in the brain. But the AI becomes very smart by understanding the people and their concerns and the points and address them. So it is almost like a digital twin of myself that anyone can download on an iPhone and talk to it. It'll answer questions just like I am answering questions right now. And it becomes intelligent by the day, and it'll give you step by step on how to build one. Because building a smart village does not require money. It requires information, tools, and resources, how to find them and how to put them together and how to create an ecosystem to do it. So that is what we're going to showcase at COP28. It's called Humans AI Technology. A young man got $24 million for his startup to do this. So this is what we're going to showcase. What that'll do is everyone who has a cell phone can talk to very intelligently, back and forth, get guidance to make this planet better, how to improve their lives, how to start a bank account, how to become an entrepreneur, and what methods worked in the past, what methods did not work, what is a better way to do it. All of this will be in this generative AI. It's going to be a great tool. So when people ask me to come and capacity build in different villages, then I have to go there, I have to coach. But now it's all possible through this generative AI.
好，达文是说呢 ，COP28 他要把这些智慧农村的成功经验呢，透过生成式的 AI 形成一个工具，透过最新的科技经验，创造的是一个互动式的一个学习的工具毕竟它没有办法跑遍全世界，去到每一个贫困的地方、落后的地方。而这个部分呢，在伯克莱其实已经在做测试了，会有创生还有环保的概念。那么在 COP28 会提出这样一个成果，还有建议，也会有展示。好，那我也跟达文说呢，他不断的呢去把他在这个 印度去创这个智慧农庄的经验呢，然后来传播出去，让更多人知道。这让我联想到，就是他在论坛上提到的是说呢，你的这些创意、创新的思维、创新的方法跟技术啊，其实要不断的交流，不要把这个 know how 藏私哦。那要像是海洋，你这个水啊是可以流动的，而不是像湖水是停止不动的。这样子呢，能够帮助社会发展，帮助国家发展哦。甚至就是让这个世界能够更好。最后呢，我也进一步提到，就说他在即将前往的这个 ft.达尔文的这个简介呢，有去提到说，究竟是什么让地球陷入困境哦？他提到了几千年来，我们是依靠绿色能源来蓬勃发展，太阳为我们的生计提供了动力，自然循环保护我们的栖息地。但是，当我们越来越舒适，对奢华还有娱乐的渴望日益增长，我们因为贪婪而失去了美好的环境。那我们可以怎么做？Darwin 就点出了这需要观念的改变和生活方式的改变，而我也进一步针对这个部分跟他做请教。
The world is set up in such a way. There was a study done many years ago about why America became a great country, why people flock to the shores of United States and Canada, and why can't they prosper in their own country, like India and so on? They had to go to the United States. The reason that America was a great country, because it started with goodness, in the sense, every Ivy League school that was established in America was not established as a school of business or school of engineering, school of technology. Every school, without exception, was established as a school of divinity to train ministers, to minister to people, serve people. That is, whether it's Harvard or Princeton, it doesn't matter. They were all there to serve people. That's how the United States began, with a strong foundation. Those morals and values that we once held in America to serve people have tarnished. Now, you go to any Ivy League school, you don't see school of divinity and people training ministers to go and help people. Everyone is there to make money, whether it's an engineering school or a school of medicine. We have changed our value system. In order for us to transform this world, we need to start young. We need to teach our children, how to, the good values, sharing. And it doesn't come in the middle. And that foundation, I think we need to lay. And there's no easy answer now to this question you're asking. How do we transform the world? We need to start all over again. And we need to start with our children. Look at the children in some of these countries where they go and blow themselves up and they don't mind about dying. You know why? Because they were taught that. So they're very faith-based. Faith has a lot to do with what your outlook in the world. So I really believe that our values have to come from the heart, and it has to be very basic, very foundational. And when we have those good values, the society will change, because when the family breaks down, everything else breaks down. See, in the United States, 46% of our young people don't want to get married. They don't. When they ask the young ladies, why do you don't want to get married? They said, what will that guy do for me that I can't do for myself? Why do I need him? It's a different outlook. There's no longer companionship, warm family, all of that. And the remaining people who are not married are miserable. They can't wait to get out of the marriage. And that's another statistic. So we live in a world that has priorities that are so wrong, but we need to rebuild, start again. but it starts with values.
好，达文认为价值系统还有信仰信念的加强是很重要的。他说呢，美国过去呢很强大，是有很大的这个信念。那么现在呢，他认为美国其实没有过去那么强了，已经是有往下走下坡。那么比方呢，很多的年轻人不结婚，那因为他们看到步入婚姻的辛苦，很多的问题，那但是这其实是一个很严重的社会问题，而宗教信仰的价值系统的建立就很重要了，才能够解决社会问题，让社会发展会更好。而说到发展智慧农村，一方面也能够缓解大城市的人口压力哦。就现在的大都会当中呢，其实大多数没有办法解决的问题就是交通、垃圾还有卫生了。这都源于一个根本的原因，就是人口的大量涌入，造成了城市窒息。联合国的数字，印度人口已经超过14亿，成为世界上人口最多的国家。而像是孟买这样的大城，有超过2000万人居住，已经是饱和了。很多的国家也都跟印度一样，城乡人口分布过度不均，大城市人口爆炸需要缓解，而农村新兴市场的创新呢，能够缓解城市人口爆炸的问题，均衡发展，让农村就业机会增加，这样子村民能够返乡工作，在地发展，在地照顾家人，可以说一举多得，而这也是一种永续发展、善的循环。慈济国际论坛呢，下一集呢，我还要跟慈济基金会的副执行长何日升师兄聊聊他这次在论坛上发表的论文，题为《宗教全球化的挑战还有协同》。那么他提到了宗教关注全球议题，将宗教的价值观还有普世价值结合，你才能够共同解决全球性的问题。那么以佛教的思维为基础，它推行善经济、善治理、善传播、善环境等等，是以善为核心为主轴的人类善文明是非常必要的。而我在看完了跟听完了他的这个分享之后，我发现哇哦，这个以善为主轴的理念呢，不只能够帮助到企业组织内部的管理，也有助于人跟人之间的关系。换句话说，可以解决世界上很多的问题，让世界更好。慈济国际论坛，我们下次见。